Hello, this is Two Hot Broads. This is our third podcast in one day that we've recorded, so we're a little buzzed.
It feels good.
It's nice. I'm a little warm. I'm going to take my shirt off.
I'm nice and calm. Wow. That's just the garden coming out right there.
I trim my nipples.
Don't choke. Trim your nipples?
The nipple hairs. You gotta...
Lady, I don't even know what to say to you.
Anywho. We are freshly plucked and here for your listening enjoyment.
Thank goodness.
I'm Dee, the hairy one. And that's Trixie over there.
I pretend I'm not hairy.
That totally works.
I'm loving your laugh right now.
Oh no. We're about to get even more drunky. What do we got here? This is the ultimate podcast.
So this is the ultimate. We saved it at the end for a reason. Because we're doing a vertical right now. Vertical sampling with Central Waters Bourbon Barreled Stout.
Okay.
And obviously this is one of those creme de la creme beers where, you know, people stand in line, they've got their name on the list, we've got the whole phone calls months in advance over, you know, who's getting what variants are coming out that season and everything else. So Central Waters Bourbon Barrel Stout, we are doing the 2017, 2016, and 2015 in that order.
Awesome. So the whole idea here, from what I can absorb, is that we're trying to taste the differences between aging it 2 years, 1 year, a few months.
Totally. And then there's like a whole other, and we're adopting that theory from wine. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of the same as wineries. Every vintage is different. Well, in beer, every vintage is different too. And that really comes into play on the water sources that year, the soil, whatever that year, mineral content, and, you know, any other scientific technicality that goes into actually growing the substances that go into the beer. Be it the water that the breweries use. That can have an influence because water is an absolute main source of beer. So let's open the 2017. Let's try 2017 right now. This is originally, when it's brewed, it's 9.5% alcohol, and I do think it does get a little more bitier as the years go on as far as alcohol content, not the flavor though. Generally speaking, most verticals, when you've got something this malty and boozy, they really start to get maybe a little sweeter, a little more maltier, a little smoother, but that really depends too on the original beer of the year. And because every year is different. From
what I was reading, so supposedly you can age a beer for up to 10 years, they say.
Yeah, and it's true. Technically you can, and that really speaks on, like, are you going to get sick after you drink it after 10 years? You're not going to get sick. And if you're aging the right beer, it's not going to taste... at worst, it's not going to taste awful, although you'll definitely be able to tell when it's bad, but it won't make you sick. But in my own personal experience, I guess, in the short-lived time that verticals have really been around, I would say that after 5 years, you could have some amazing beers, but it's also a gamble.
Right. Yeah. You're chancing it.
Because, I mean, the more time that beer has to air, it's an oxidation process. And when it's too oxidized, it won't taste good. So, you know, you'd never really know for each individual year when that cutoff's going to be. So that's why I kind of say after that, you're not going to get sick, but it's a gamble on whether or not it tastes good. Although, there's some beers in there where you're like, oh, I'm so glad I stored that for 9 years. Well, I mean, but it's a gamble. So, but then
it would suck if you stored it for 9 years and you open it up and it sucks. And there's
bad. That. Yeah. But, you know, when you're doing verticals, it's a gambling process.
Yeah. All right, so we're starting with the Central Waters Stout 2017.
So this year's, and this is an imperial stout that's put into bourbon barrels. You know, Anello came on a different thing we did, and you and I got to talk to Anello, the head brewer of Central Waters, and they have the biggest collection of barrel aging in the nation.
Yeah.
Not Wisconsin.
The nation.
The nation. I mean, honestly, when you really think about what that means, that's pretty huge. So I'm actually going to pour the 2017. I took a sip, and I'm going to set it aside, because I'm going to play this one.
Okay.
I'm going to play this one smart, and I'm going to tell you to do the same thing. But
I'm
put
doing
it
the
aside.
same thing. I do
okay,
what you
but
tell me.
know
Trixie.
that this is 2017 right there and keep it in order. Because we're going to nerd out for just a second. Or I want to. If you don't want to, do whatever you want.
I'm down for the nerding of that.
Okay, so we're going to move to 2016, and we're going to keep these next to each other because I want to try them all separately, and then I want to just kind of like play around with them and see which one we actually like the best later, just for funsies.
So the 2016 off the bat, and I don't know if it's just the glass, but it looks a little lighter.
The 2016 looks lighter. Maybe a little bit off the edges, you're right. It's still black in the middle, but around the edges it kind of dulls up. Taste-wise, do you like the 2016 or 17 better?
All right, hold on.
2016, I'm going to say, is a little sweeter. Like it is. It's genuinely a little sweeter. There's not as much carbonation play, and there's not as much hop play.
The mouthfeel is definitely different.
Okay.
I will say that. And is the 2016 boozier?
I think so, just because the hops kind of, the minute the hops go away, I can taste the alcohol a little bit more. I'm not saying that it necessarily got boozier in 1 year, but I think the hops just kind of disappearing a little bit makes the warming feel sensation come out.
Okay.
Just in my own opinion, the warming sensation comes out a
so
little more.
crazy. This is the same beer, and it tastes totally different.
Isn't that funny?
That's crazy.
And it's only 1 year.
What is this,
So
witchcraft?
You're not just like, but when you say different beer, are you meaning different beer, or are you meaning that something got elevated more?
No, I'm just saying it tastes different. Even the 2016 smells richer.
Isn't that funny? Just a little more sugarier.
Yeah.
Definitely more malts in play at the 2016, but I think that's just sitting in the dark, you know? And when you oxidize it, that's the first thing that happens is everything kind of sweetens up a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, not that the 2017 is really smooth too, but dare I say the 2016 is even smoother?
So now I'm interested in the 2015 because you assume that the recipe is the same, but like I said, totally depends on things are out of their control. So I just poured the 2015.
This is going to be awesome.
And it smells super sweet.
Oh, it does.
It's way smoother.
It smells like molasses.
It smells like Christmas. We just got done with Christmas, but it smells like Christmas.
Ho, ho.
This is a total winter.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
I really like that. I love it. The alcohol content didn't really go up a whole lot.
Right.
It just got a little more complex from the 2016.
There's a lot happening there.
I'm really happy that it's not super boozy. And it didn't go the malt liquor range either. You can still really feel like it's beer.
But there's a lot happening there. Like there's, I don't know how to explain it. Like the flavors expand or something. There's just...
This one got darker though. Like before you compared it, and the 2015 is darker. In fact, it's like darkest in color out of all three of them.
Does this... Now, the ABV goes up as you age them?
And that's a guess process. I mean, you can do a scientific little study and stuff like that, which might be kind of fun. Maybe we should do that.
Oh, that would be kind of awesome.
Do you want to Google how to do a chemistry experiment on where the most alcohol is?
Yes.
Let's do it. We'll get our lab coats on.
Oh, and the little glasses. Mm-hmm. Safety glasses. And I can do my hair all crazy. I look like a mad scientist.
I think upcoming in the next 4 or 5 episodes, too, we have Mandy, who has more beers that just happened.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they're good at brewing beer.
They're really good at brewing beer. The best basement brewers I ever did come upon.
This feels... The 2015 feels thicker, maybe?
It's definitely thicker. And this is where the complexity goes in. Like, that oxidation process is like just, it's such a tight line. It's such a tight line because like the beer, you can definitely tell more air has gotten into it. So that carbonation is going away.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, the bubbly thing is going away and everything just gets a little more condensed. And I think that's where the, like, more of the molasses, so the complexity of the malts and the more, like, malt-bomby aspect of things really start coming into play. And that's just, it's a scientific, there's a scientific reason for that, you know? You're losing the original state of the beer.
Sure. So, like, if the listeners wanted to do this, it would be basically, and I mean, the Central Waters is great for this, but you could do it with any beer.
You could do it with
right?
any beer. Absolutely. In fact, I encourage experimentation. If you're willing to go get a bottle and just sit on it for 5 years and keep doing that every year, I highly recommend it. I think, before you do it, make sure that it's commonly known you can do it. And if it's not, kind of research, like, the baseline of which beers are better for aging and stuff, and make sure that you're in the realms of experimentation. But honestly, up to 5 years, it's not going to hurt you. And it'd be kind of fun just to kind of see the different things people put out there. I'd be interested in actually having people come back to us.
Yeah.
And say, like, this is a beer I've done a variation in, and this is the year I liked most. And just, it's kind of cool.
What beers typically are good for aging?
So the beers typically good for aging are definitely the maltier beers, the stouts, the porters, the quads, the abbeys, the Doppelbocks. Doppelbocks is a big one. Christmas beers, the spicier things and stuff like that. Generally speaking, I would stay away from the lighter beers.
Okay.
If you're doing a lighter beer, I'd be careful. Make sure that it's danky enough. Make sure there's enough malt content with the lighter beers that you want to age them. And just take the precautions, maybe a little bit more with those on temperature and light restrictions.
Okay.
Just to be a super geek.
Right.
But
like, so for here in Wisconsin, most of us have a basement area.
Yeah.
Even if you're in an apartment, there's usually basement storage. So store your beers in the corner of your storage unit, whatever.
Totally. Do you have a friend that just we'll let you put like 2 cardboard boxes in a basement and put some beers in.
And then just throw a blanket over it and let them sit.
Yeah, let them sit there.
Don't forget, I would put it, like if I aged beers, I'd have to put it in my Google Calendar. So I remember they were down there.
That's actually, it's good advice. I guess I never thought about it. We're just different. I think I'm just too engrossed in it to forget about them.
Well, that's your life,
Yeah, totally. I have a different...
But I got shit in my basement I forgot about.
No, totally. No, that's scary when you go through your basement. And then after a couple of years, you're like, I have this?
Right.
Why?
Why did I keep this? I know. God. But I would never say that with beer. All right, well, I'm going to try that for sure.
So do you want to quickly kind of go through, like,
Yes.
which one did you like the most?
God, that 2015 is just remarkably, like, heavier.
I love all of them for a different reason, but if I had to go for, like, a complexity of the ultimate dessert beer, I would go with the 2015.
Me too.
I just think it's
That's my
just
pick.
a beautiful finish. That is really cool. So I have one of each still, which means that next year when I get one, we could do a 4-year vertical, and then that's why I kind of took some nerdy notes. And we're going to wait for 1 more year, and then I'm going to compare what the 2015, 16, 17 tasted like, and if there were any some significant differences. But I think that'd be really fun, because
For real.
this is cool.
All right, how do we get to Trixie's?
Corner of East Washington Oak Street in the Madison area, right across the street from Ellen's Deli. Come visit us. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you for your ear holes. Appreciate you and your endless patience with our drunkenness.